Hey fight fans, Micah Frankel for Nux.com and Cage Minds here outside the Jackson's WinkelJohn gym with Justine Edwards, who's going to be taking on Josh Neer on UFC on FX5 October 5th.
Yep.
So how are you feeling about 3 weeks out from the fight now?
Feeling great actually. I came out here in New Mexico, get some high altitude training. I feel great. I'm just trying to put all my ducks in a row to get ready for Josh Neer.
Awesome. Speaking of Josh Neer, could you give us some thoughts on him and on facing a 45-fight veteran?
It's not that big a deal to me. He's been around the game a long time. He's got a lot of fights. He's a grinding fighter. He's going to be there for 3 rounds. I'm ready for him. I'm ready for anybody that the UFC puts in front of me.
So how do you feel that you two match up?
I think it's an exciting matchup. I don't think that we're really similar, but the only similarity we do have is that we're exciting. We both like to come forward. We both like to, bang it out. But I think that the game plan that we set up for Josh Neer is going to work exclusively for him because a lot of people fall into his game, and we're going to dictate what we want to do, and I'm going to pose my will on him.
So, what aspect of his game are you most aware of? Is it that he likes to have that brawl in your face, come forward kind of style, or what are you most aware of right now?
He does like to do that. So do I. But he likes to come forward. He's pretty good with his boxing. He has a nasty clinch game. A lot of short elbows and knees. And, that's where he wants the fight to be, just because he's a grinding fighter and he wants to grind it out. But we've worked on a lot of things that we're going to be well prepared for that. I don't want to play into his game, but if we do, I'll be ready. And he better be ready as well, because I have so much tricks on my sleeve.
Okay. On that. And then you're out here in Albuquerque, New Mexico training. Can you talk a little bit about how it led to you coming out here to train?
Oh yeah, I know Bo McDaniel, he's been out here training. We're with the same management team. Everybody with my camp, everybody has fights. All my instructors have fights. Everybody's my main instructor's going to be in California doing Kung's camp. My training partner Rich is going to be doing his camp, and George Joe, he's been gone. He's just getting back. He has a fight the weekend before Strike Force, so everybody's kind of been out and about, and I just wanted to make sure I had a good nucleus of guys to train with. That way I can get better and just prepare for the toughest Josh Neer that's going to come at me.
So was that an easy decision to make, to uproot the camp from Cincinnati to come to a new environment because of that situation, or did it make it tougher because you kind of wanted to be there for the people too?
I didn't really want to leave camp. I always wanted to come out here after a camp, and work with the high-level guys to get better. But it came to the point: are there going to be enough guys at the gym to push me? There wasn't. Everybody understands that, and everybody has their own routines, and some people don't want to leave or whatever. But I just think it was the best decision for me at the time.
All right. That seems to hopefully be a decision that'll work out positively. We'll see that on October 5th. A little more into you. Last night started a new season of The Ultimate Fighter, and that's when us UFC fans first got their real first glimpse at you. So, could you talk a little bit about what you gained from that experience for you, and if when you hear a new season that, the smile, what does the memories that it brings up in you?
It does, arouse some memories and stuff, but it was a great opportunity. Obviously I wanted to win the show. I went on there to win the show, and I thought I was one of the better guys there. But I did enough to make an impression where I got put in the back of their heads where they needed a replacement. They put me in the finale or whatever. Actually, one of the guys that's on the show, Julian Lane, the guy with the red mohawk or pink mohawk.
Yeah.
He's from Mansfield, Ohio, and I know him and have trained with him a little bit as well. So, it's always more exciting to watch it as someone on there. So, I'm really looking forward to this season. Right.
And then when you hear talking about that, what are some of your fondest memories or the first memories that come to you from your experience?
Just some of the first memories is just walking in the house. When I came as an alternate, I didn't know what to expect, and I assumed everybody was gonna kind of give me grief about being the new guy or whatever. But my team JDS, accepted me with open arms. A lot of training buddies and stuff, and everybody I'm still in contact with. We're talking about getting together and training, doing stuff like that. So. I've made some lifelong friends and training partners out of it, so it was great.
That's awesome. Did you feel any added kind of pressure at that time when they bring you in as the replacement during the season that you needed to validate yourself to perform, or was it just enough pressure because it was the Ultimate Fighter?
No, the thing about pressure, people get nervous and do something, I joke around and say I'm too dumb to notice or worry about it, but I was more pissed off than anything that you know, I came in kind of with a chip on my shoulder, like, wow, like they really didn't pick me for the first, because I thought they were bringing in 32 guys to fight into the house. It was like, I didn't get picked in the top 32, and I saw the bunch around me. I was like, you have to be kidding me. I didn't get picked in the top 32. But so I was top 16. I went in. I had a little bit of a grudge on my shoulder, so I wasn't really worried about being nervous. But you know, when you go out there and fight, there's 10, 20 people watching you there. And I've wrestled on bigger platforms, with football stadiums, full people wrestle at nationals, and Greco freestyle, stuff like that. I've been at bigger stages, and it hasn't bothered me. So this is no different, or that was no different.
Okay, and we know the grappling base is your background. How much has that Greco-Roman base helped you when you started your MMA training?
It helped a lot at first, but people were so leery of it, they tried to stay away from it, and I haven't really started using my wrestling again until I got to the UFC. Like, it came to the point where I was either knocking guys out, or they, make a desperate scramble for the ground, and I ended up choking them out. So it's starting to work well. It worked well in the Lopez fight on Ultimate Fight Night 25. It worked good against Clay Harbison, and it worked against John McGuire as well. Even though that one didn't go my way, it still played a big part in it.
That fight didn't go your way. What did you take away from that fight that you learned from against McGuire?
Well, it's hard for me to turn down fights for the UFC. I take a fight. After the fight, they would call me a couple days later. Like, hey, do you want another fight? Sure. I like to fight. I like the money. I always wanted to make this my full-time job. So I think the thing I didn't allow myself to do is rest and recover after my fight, because as a fighter or athlete, you have your peaks and valleys. You work to your peak, and then you're supposed to peak at your performance or your fight, and it's supposed to take time to hit that valley and recover and let your body rest. And I didn't really get myself. I was going on my 4th fight in the UFC in like 7 months. I don't know another fight in the UFC that was taking that many fights. So I think it played a part in the McGuire fight. I dropped in the first 2 minutes, and then after that, my body is like, I wasn't tired, but I wasn't physically able to move the way I wanted to, and I think that was the key factor in that.
So with that, we know that it's been 11 months since that McGuire fight. So has this been more, I was going to ask you if you felt ring rust, but has this just been more like rest and relaxation and repair those nagging injuries?
The whole thing was I had to repair the injuries, but I also had time to actually get better. I didn't take a fight and just try to stay in fight shape and just take a fight. I actually had time to grow a little bit as a fighter and learn more, put more in my game. That way when I show up against Josh Neer, I have a few more tricks up my sleeve.
Okay. Then you said, the choking people out early on. Noticed you got 5 submission wins, 4 of the 5 are by guillotine. Is that your, specialty move, your favorite move, or is that the submission that was available, you took it and it worked?
It's not that that's my move. Like, there's so many more moves in my arsenal. It just, MMA, whatever happens. But at the time being, the guys didn't want to stand up with me, so they would desperately shoot with their neck out. If someone gives me an opening, I'm going to take it. That's what MMA is, capitalizing on the other guy's mistakes. So if they want to give me their neck, I'll take it,
Okay. And I heard that it went from you were watching The Ultimate Fighter or you watched an MMA fight and you got into it by saying, oh, I could do that.
Yeah. So
from doing that, what has it evolved into? What are your emotions about the sport and about it as a career when you think about it?
I'm trying to, being around, the guys that have been in MMA for a while, like Rich Franklin and George, I learned to take it more serious. I was actually talking trash about the guy on television. I said, oh, his wrestling's terrible. I was like, I could go in there and beat that guy, your normal guy sitting on the couch watching it. But I've always been competitive. And my girlfriend at the time said, there's a gym around the corner. That's how I got in, obviously. But, just being, from starting there and, continually moving up and getting to be around like the better guys, more professional guys, I take it more seriously. It's not just something fun to do. It's like, I want to hold myself, at a personal standard, and just try to be professional at all times like those guys.
Okay. From the MMA world, is there any other guys outside of George and Rich that you really look up to, or would model your fighting style after or something?
Well, not really. I try to have my own style, but I find myself, I like the old Vanderlei, where he came out and tried to kill everybody. Like when I first got into fighting, that's what I want to try to be like. But you know, the game's evolved so much since then. Like guys like, you know, I eventually want to fight GSP at one point. You know, I'm not nearly on that level, but you know, that's a guy like I see how he's grown as a fighter and how he's put it together, and you know, that's why he's on top right now, and that's kind of what I want to do as well.
So from being the guy sitting on the couch saying I could do it, which factor of everything of MMA shocked you the most once you started getting into it? What were you like, I didn't expect this?
The cardio.
The cardio?
My very first fight, it went 3 rounds. I had an inverted armbar in the 3rd round, and I had like a 45-minute drive home. And about 20 minutes in the drive home, my arm started shaking because my body was kind of going into shock because I just had that wrestling pace, go, 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 go. I did that the whole entire time, you know, and my body couldn't keep up with it. And then after that, I think my next 7 fights were all under a minute or 2 minutes. And I was like, I won't do that again.
You learned the importance of getting someone out of there quick to save up the energy.
But you know, it's not like I wasn't training hard. I wasn't prepared for the toll that my body would take, you know, having a fight.
Okay. Can't wait to see you perform on FX5. Wanted to give you a second shout out to sponsors, training partners, whatnot.
Just everybody at JG MMA, Sheely's Iron Tigers, and everybody down here at Greg Jackson, WinkelJohn. You know, they're a bunch of great guys and I'm getting the work I need. I really appreciate it.
This has been Micah Frankel for Caged Minds. Uncaged Lawyer Within Yourself. Make sure to check out Nux.com and sign up for the fan forum. Let your opinion be heard. Thanks for watching.